All right, we're going to do this four-phase system breakdown. So I have a four-phase system. I broke it down into four phases. This is what I came up with in my own trading. I traded support resistance for 2 years, and I had I listened to a lot of YouTubes and a lot of gurus and stuff, and some of the basics that they said always kind of made me scratch my head. Like, well, how do you get there? How do you get there? One of them was have a playbook, have a set of rules, have a set of entry criterias and stuff that you trade, and that's it. It could be one playbook, it could be two playbooks, three, but have a playbook that you know works, that you've proven that it works, that you can practice in back testing, and then try to focus on technique. Try to. They're always telling you don't focus on the money. Don't focus on the money, and that was probably that was my biggest issue, and it was this going through this. It's helping me get out of it. I still struggle with that. I still want to chase the money, but I'm getting better, and I'm recognizing little things because of this process. I'm recognizing little things, and I know how to alter, hopefully, to erase those issues of me chasing money. So I put this four-phase system together based on what the trading gurus teach us over and over and over again. So it's not something like I dreamed up on my own, but I decided at the beginning of 2025 I was going to get a playbook. Thought I had a playbook. I actually had a playbook in TradeZilla, but I had ideals. I never really had rules. I had really strong ideals. And so I went and I said, I'm going to build a playbook. And about this time, I was trading support and resistance. About this time, I also joined Tori's Trendline Trading. And so I took those two things and I built my playbooks off of those. So here's the beginning of my phase. Phase one, engineering your playbook. This is this is this is kind of fun. Kind of this is like you're an experiment, and according to where you are in trading, whether you're beginner, you're experienced, it's a time to just dig deep and start engineering your specific playbook or playbooks. The reason is so that you have a strong set of rules to learn and backtest later. If you're backtesting something that isn't proven strong, you're backtesting something that's incorrect and you're learning incorrect behaviors. So, number one, we got to find our playbook. This is your playbook, your thinking, and it's going to be built by you. Now, you can start with a base system. I had support resistance, and I added a base system of trendline trading. Great bases. Anything that I'm a big fan of price action. Anything price action is going to be a great base. So having a good base, maybe something that's already proven by some trading guru out there. Maybe they teach you a system or whatever that you can watch their videos. Like I said, that's a good base. That's a starting point. Now you want to be able to take that base and start making it fit your thinking. We all think and see things differently. I might see plays off of support resistance way better than someone else sees it. But they may see plays off of trend lines better than I see it. So you want to know that. So right here, phase one, tags are key to this to help you find what fits. This is not about trading a playbook. It's about tagging so many things. Let's say you're a trend line trader. You want to build a playbook for a 3 touch point break. You're going to start tagging candle reactions, trend line data, um, trend, um, just anything price action. You can tag volume. You can tag, maybe you use an indicator. You can tag that indicator. Tag anything and everything you can think of. It's better to have so many tags that you don't even know what you got to tag than to have not enough. You can go through phase one and you can say, okay, I'm starting to narrow things down, starting to see stuff, and you can go back in your tags and start deleting stuff that didn't matter. And then you can narrow that down later. But in the beginning, when you get started, just try to tag anything you see. You want to keep this. This is a big key here. This is going to be in phase 1, 2, and 3. You want to keep to, if you're trading futures, one contract. If you're trading options, one option. If you're trading stocks, a minimal amount of stocks. If you're trading forex, you want your smallest, you want a small package, because this isn't about the money right now. You have to get your mind off the money. You're looking simply for technique. You're looking at the market to see how the market moves, how to hopefully find something that gives you a higher probability of not getting faked out, higher probability of wins. You're wanting something that starts fitting your eyes, that you understand, that you didn't have to spend a month to learn, but you're starting to pick things up. You know, watch some ICT, watch ORB, watch all these different scenarios, and start kind of taking little ideas. Like, I watched a guy, in fact, I just had a conversation. I watched a guy on support resistance. I've been trading support resistance for a long time. I watched his method of support resistance, and it was like eye-opening to me. It's like, why? How come I never seen that before? And I added that to my support. So I made a fine adjustment to my playbook, my setup, but it's still support resistance. It was just, I saw how he does it better. Now, when it breaks down and he starts going into how he trades, he lost me. I toss it aside. I got something that I wanted out of it. I got something that was mentioned that I thought, I see that. I'm playing around with fair value gaps. I don't know the whole process of fair value gaps, but I do know when I see them. And so I'm kind of playing around with them and seeing how they react and stuff, because I understood that. So that's the kind of the ideal phase one. You're getting these little things. I highly suggest you watch videos of other systems, people who have proven systems that they're trying to show and share on YouTube. Don't pay for another course. Just watch their free versions and see if there's things that click that you might be able to see. Add it to your things to tag. Try it, see if it's working. Take things that you understand and leave the rest. So that's kind of phase one. It's experimenting, it's engineering, it's trying to figure out what is going to be my set of rules for my playbook. What am I going to require for a setup? What am I going to require for an entry trigger? And what are going to be my trade managements? But stop there. We're not going to focus too much on trade management till the end. We're just going to trade that one contract. We're going to let it go. We can just do we can do a certain pip. We can do, if you're a trend line trader, you can do the safety line. If you're a support resistance trader, you can do the support zones, key levels, whatever. Just, it doesn't matter too much, but you're going to mostly focus on getting into entries and catching trades. Phase two. Now that you got a playbook, you wrote your rules down, you understand what you're wanting. You've deleted majority of your tags. You're down to a set of tags that fit your playbook. And you want to prove, does my playbook work? I put together a bounce playbook off of trend lines. and I want to know if it really works. So you're going to this is where all your engineering, all your experimenting comes down to: does it work? Does it work? Am I going to get a good win rate? Am I going to get, let's say you get 50 to 60% win rate, maybe 70%. This particular phase, the way I want you to do it, you probably will get upwards of 70, 80%. And that's fine. This is data collection here. You're going to go through, and you're not even really back testing. You're going through and you're taking quadrants of time, whether you're low time frame, high time frame, whatever, and you're going to take, if you're trading a 4 hour, you could do a whole year. If you're trading the 1 hour, you could do 6 months. So you could probably do 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, spread it out through the year. I do a whole year in the 1 hour. The more trades, the better. And you're only going to take the trades that fit your playbook. If you took a trade and you stop and you look at that and you say that no, that wasn't my playbook. I kind of jumped on a candle, that was popping, and honestly, my setup's not there. My setup rules wasn't there. I didn't enter where my entry trigger is supposed to be. This whole thing was not right. Delete it. Delete it. We don't want that data. We only want the data that's your system, your rules. So it's pretty critical. Now you got to also take the losers, because there's no 100% trade system. So take the losers that are per your rules. If it's per your rules and it's a loser, take them. We got to get that balance. We got to get real data, and that's all it is. It's real data. Phase 2 is getting your real data. You're not focused on money again. You're just focused on your technique. You want to delete the trades that aren't per your rules. And if you're not sure, if you're not sure if these trades are hitting your rules, maybe you need to go back to phase 1 and define your rules a little better. So that's phase 2. Now, you just did phase 2, and let's say you did this in 2023. You back tested all of 2023 with your rules. You did all phase 2 with 2023. You're going to go to phase 3, and you're going to replay that same time frame. Only this time you're going to take every trade, because now you're trying to try to train your eyes to seeing your playbook. And now the reason you do the same time is you got a data. Your phase 2 said you got a 75% win rate, and you go through on phase 3 at that same time, and you get a 22% win rate. You need some work to understand and see your system, your techniques, your setup. So you're going to take every single trade you think is per your rules, and it's kind of going to let you know how well you see your rules, how well you do it. And, all these things, in back testing, there's always that possibility of cheating, of deleting trades, especially if they're big losers, all that stuff. That's yours. That's your discipline, and I believe that back testing and going through this is a discipline thing. When you do phase 3, you want your tags to start focusing on trade management. You want to think about things like whether you're taking a certain amount of ticks, you're getting out at support resistance, you're getting out, and so start playing around with it. And this is kind of like you're going through phase 2 to get your setup and entry, or phase 3 to get your setup and entry to where you see it. And at the same time, you're starting to experiment with trade management ideas in tags. So then when you go to trade phase 4, phase 4 is all about trade management. Phase 4 is it takes a question out. What do I do if this happens? What do I do if prices go into the all-time high? What do I do if, this or that? Do I want to take just a specific tick amount, get my piece of pie, and leave? Do I want to trail a safety line? Do I want to trail the movement? So I want to trail candle. Do I want to trail it all? Maybe I just want a dollar amount. If I can hit this dollar amount, and can I hit this dollar amount regularly? Can I do, and I have a video all about this that I just posted a couple weeks ago. All these different trade management ideas. Now you want to just kind of go through and you've got your setup, you're playing your setup. Now you're thinking, okay, I got in my setup, the trade's going, now what? Now you're thinking about your trade management. And the reason I put this at the very end is because we got to get out of chasing the money. We got to get out of thinking only about the money. And by the time you've gotten to phase 4, you start to understand technique. You start to understand why things are rule-based. And you start understanding how to make your trade management rule-based and not fear-based or scarcity-based or any of these other things, FOMO-based or whatever. You start learning to accept the fact that you set a target for 35 ticks, but it ran up to 300 ticks. You're okay with that because you can get that 35 ticks, and you can get it regularly, so you don't care. I got my 35. I don't care what it does. It's already been proven. This is my rules. So this is why I put it at the end. You're now going into trade management engineering, and you got tags from phase 3, and you're going to start putting these things together and start narrowing that down. What are my rules going to be for trade management? Now you can add that stuff. Once you have something, you can add that to your playbook. Do know you can have more than one item in a playbook. Of course, they call them strategies now on TradeZella. But if I go here and I look at my rules for my 3 touch point break, I have I have a retest or pause prior to the breakout or a retest pause after the breakout. Now I'm not going to pick both of those. It's one or the other. On a 3 touch point, I can have a no retest entry. I don't take them very often because they're not very good. And all of them have to be low risk. So that's my setup. I have additional confluences that I want to see in my trades. Now, are they always going to be there? No, but I want to see them. I could have turned those into tags, but I really want to see that. To me, an A+ trade is I got one of these, I've got this, and I've got 1 or 2 of these. That tells me I'm really on track. Now, my trade management with a trend, do I set a take profit? With the trend, which is all I trade anymore is with trend, trail my candle. These are my 2 trade management rules. And I take those. This is based off of, there's a support level up above that might not, might want to reverse quickly on. So I'm going to set a take profit at that support level. I don't feel like the break and everything was going as strong as I like. It's kind of moving slow. So maybe I went from started with trailing on a candle and turn it into a take profit. Set a dollar amount and say get out if it hits this dollar amount. If it goes sideways, then I'll hold it until a safety line's breached. And then I'll just get out and reset up. You see how often that happens. Structure breakout. Structure starts to break down. If I'm watching it and it's going up, and I just see it just start breaking down, and you know, I, I'm just gonna get out. I'm gonna get out. I got a new point B. I got a new spot. I'll just wait for the price to come back for a new trade. It's obviously broken down. It's come back too far. I don't want to give it my full loss. I want to give it partial loss, and I have a rule for that. So it has to basically break down past beyond. It has to pull in back behind the action line. If it pulls in behind the action line within like 4 or 5 candles, I'm getting out. So you can have more than one, but you got to know what each one means. Each one, it has to have a purpose and a plan. That's phase 4. By this time, so in phase 3, actually phase 2, I don't. I think paper trading is great. Add it. Start adding it. I think phase 3, you definitely want to have paper trading going at a minimum. If you're live trading like I was doing, I was live trading through all this. Um, that works too. You start working on those live trading emotions. You may lose money in the way along the way more, but you can do it. Um, and then the final step is beyond, and this is just continued practice, and you continue to practice until you are making money. Period. Until you are regularly making money. Honestly, I don't know why you would stop practicing. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's my thinking. I know that everybody is different, but it builds confidence. It helps you so that you can make fine adjustments along the way. It ingrains this into your thinking. You just get your method and your training. Just as you're I'm live trading, and I back test constantly to ingrain it into my system, so that I am greatly reducing the amount of trades I take that are not per my rules in live trading. It helps me to learn market behavior. I'm constantly in the market. I'm constantly on the charts, not just staring at a blank chart screen. I'm actually actively in the charts. It may be 2022, it may be 2023, maybe 2019, maybe 2016, but I am actively in the charts learning market action. And then I am just becoming better. That is a breakdown of my 4 phase trading system. I'm going to be pushing a lot more on this. I'm a big believer. It is where I got 1% better every day. It is where I got my hope in trading. And I've seen several people who have gone through my system and are getting hope in their trading. And so I hope that, I don't say you got to do this like 100%, whatever. If you just follow the concept, that's fine. It's a guide. It's definitely a guide. Get a playbook, prove your playbook, test your playbook, build your trade management, and build your trading business.